Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making produce bags, and here are the supplies we're going to need. We need bag cord locks, mesh fabric, and paracord or cotton cord. Okay, so the mesh is 18 inches wide. So I've just cut a piece that is 12 and a half inches this way, and then it's 18 inches wide this way. And then I'm using ripstop nylon that I have left over from some grocery bags that I made, but you could use quilter's cotton as well. And so I've just cut that instead of 18 inches wide, I've cut it 19 inches, just one more inch, so that I can fold the ends under and hem them. So the mesh is 18 by 12 and a half, and the ripstop nylon is 3.5 by 19, but I just cut it 3.5 because I want to try and get the print to show on the bag, because I'm going to be folding that in half. You could probably get away with 2.5 by 19. So I'm going to start by hemming the ends of the ripstop nylon by folding a 1/4 inch and then another 1/4 inch and stitching across the top. And I'm just going to pin mine in place with clips, but if you're using quilter's cotton, you can press your hem. I just don't want to melt this ripstop nylon, so I'm just going to fold it and clip it, and that will take care of those raw edges. And I'm using polyester thread because I don't want these produce bags to come apart when they're full of apples or something. Now we're going to attach this to the mesh. So I've got the mesh here. Okay, so I'm going to sew along the top with a 1/4 inch seam, and I'm leaving a 1/2 inch on each end that doesn't have the ripstop nylon, because that's going to be my seam allowance for the mesh. So I'll just clip this with Wonder Clips. It's a bit difficult using pins with mesh, so clips are easier. Okay, and now if you're using cotton, you can fold down your other edge by a 1/4 inch and press with your iron, but I cannot press this, so I'm just going to fold it over a 1/4 inch and bring it down to cover the previous raw edge, and I'm going to just top stitch along that. So I think I am going to have to use pins for this part. I'll just try and use some very fine pins. And if you can, try to wrap around that previous raw edge, so that, especially if you're using ripstop nylon, so that it doesn't have a chance to fray when it's finished. Okay, so it's all pinned, so I'm just going to top stitch down that edge. So there we go. Now I'm just going to put this right sides together, and I'm going to stitch. I'm going to clip it with Wonder Clips and stitch around this edge and this edge. And I'm going to stitch with a 1/2 inch seam, but I'm not going to catch any of that ripstop above that hem seam. I don't want to stitch my opening closed that my drawstring is going to go through. And then I'm just going to go around it again at a 1/4 inch seam just to make sure that it's strong. Now we'll just turn this right side out, and we will put our drawstring through that channel that we have. So our bag is now 8 inches wide, and if we want to cut our drawstring to go all the way around, we're going to need to double that to 16 inches and then have a little bit of room on the end. So I'm going to cut it at 18 or 19 inches. So this is paracord that you can get at the kids craft section at Walmart or at different craft stores, and I've just got a knot in the end. I've cut it a little bit long so that I can have this knot for my safety pin. So we're just going to run this around through our drawstring channel. Now it's a little tricky to get that knot out of there, which is why I cut it a little bit longer, so I can just cut this end off. Now to put this through these little holes on these cord locks, we need to, well, I'm going to try it without the lighter, but we might need to use the lighter. Yeah, we're going to need to use the lighter. So we need to melt the end like this. Just put it in the blue part of the flame, and then there won't be any smoke. Okay, now just let it cool off a little bit. Yeah, that's still too hot. And then we're just gonna, okay, once it cools down enough that you're not burning your fingers, you just want to make that into a little point. Then you can put that through one side of the cord lock. Like that. And then we got to do the same for the other side. Whoops. See, it went into the yellow part of the flame and it lit up a bit there. Okay, so just wait for that to cool off. Okay, and do the same thing. Make our little point on the end. It's still warm to the touch, but not burning my skin. So we'll squeeze the cord lock to get both those little holes lined up and push our paracord through. And there we go. Now we can put some apples in here. I'll just put my scissors in for an example. And close the bag. Squeeze our little push tab on our cord lock, and there we go. Our fruit is not going to spill everywhere. All right. If you want to use cotton cord instead of paracord, just make sure you tape the end with Scotch tape, and then you should be able to get it through. Yeah, it still works. But, you know, get the, I think this one's 3/16 wide or something. You need a fairly skinny cord. I got this at Canadian Tire at the hardware store. Thanks for making with me today. Check out my grocery bag tutorial that I published earlier in the week, and you can make grocery bags to go with your produce bags. Happy shopping, and thanks for saving the environment by not using plastic bags. See you next time on Daydreams of Quilts.